Good afternoon and welcome to Munich's Zebener Street. You are watching a public training session along with thousands of Bayern fans who came here to the training facilities of Germany's biggest and most successful football club. We will show you a few minutes of this public training sessions. Yesterday evening, Bayern Munich, Pep Guardiola's team, competed in the Super Cup against Dortmund. As I'm sure you all know, a 2-0 defeat is the bottom line, but far worse, of course, was the news of a probably severe injury of Javi Martinez, who announced himself through social media that it's very likely that he tore his ACL. Traditionally, when Bayern Munich play a game, the players who competed, and you're looking at them right now, are conducting a separate training session from the rest of the squad. So you have Manuel Neuer here, Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, Sebastian Rode, Juan Bernat from the right, Gaudino, Alaba, Boateng, Lewandowski. All of these players are conducting light running exercises. They jog around the pitch, they stretch, and then depending on their condition, they will receive massages, treatments. We'll see his Xherdan Shaqiri just getting up, Alaba again in the background, Robert Lewandowski, who was unable to score a goal against his former club. He had a great chance, one great chance at the beginning of the second half, but that was pretty much the only good chance of Robert Lewandowski in a match that was tough for him. 2-0 for Dortmund was the Super Cup result. It's the second time that Bayern Munich lose this Super Cup match against Dortmund. A lot of fans will say, well, it's not really a competitive match. It's one of these tournaments, or one of these titles. If you win it, everyone's happy because you win an official title. If you fail to win it, then, well, it's only a test match, really, and not the most important title. The first real competitive match, if you so will. The season begins for many players, at least on Sunday, when Bayern Munich compete in Münster against Preußen Münster in the first round, the first so-called main round of the DFB Cup. That's traditionally always the first important game of the season. We'll see how many of these players will be able to compete there, and of course how many of the other players who are not in this training group will be able to compete. A lot of world champions still not really in match fitness. Philipp Lahm came on yesterday but didn't start from the beginning. Then we had Bastian Schweinsteiger, who's recovering from World Cup minor injuries. Same more or less goes for Thiago, Ribéry, Robben. So still a lot of players missing from today's training session and from the squad in general. Bayern Munich and also, of course, Pep Guardiola are, however, very experienced when it comes to this situation. Basically every other year, after every world and every European championship, you have the same problems, of course. You have different players joining the training groups in different times. In the center is Sebastian Rode, the man third from right. Sebastian Rode made a very good impression yesterday. Of course, the team lost, so no one's performance, I suppose, was absolutely perfect, but Rode showed very, very good performances in the friendlies and in the test matches so far in this pre-season for the summer 2014, preparation for the 2014-2015 season. Sebastian Rode, one of the new signings. Second from right here is Robert Lewandowski. Next to him, young Gianluca Gaudino, son of former Bundesliga star player Maurizio Gaudino, who's also impressed in this preseason. As you can see here, players running around in the back, other players training together. It's starting to rain, which is unfortunate for the many, many thousands of fans that have come here to Munich's Zebener Street. The holidays have started in Bavaria, which always makes for great crowds. Unfortunately, it's raining now. That weather's been bad in Munich the last couple of days, which prevented more fans from coming here. But it is a great tradition of Bayern Munich to be accessible to the fans. The players usually give their fans autographs, pose for photos with the fans, and this is one of these typical Bayern Munich situations. Bayern Munich has a reputation of cherishing the love of the fans and also working hard to offer the fans close access, a good access to the players. Just now Manuel Neuer and Jerome Boateng are running laps around the pitch. Here is the other training group with Juan Bernat, Sebastian Rode, David Alaba, Gianluca Gaudino, Robert Lewandowski and Xherdan Shaqiri. Andreas Kornmeier is the fitness coach here in the center, and the left of him here in the center, 17-year-old Gianluca Gaudino, of whom Pep Guardiola says he's very quick-minded. He is a player who still needs to work on many things. You can see his physique, certainly, and that's no surprise for a 17-year-old, still needs a lot of work to be done, but he's got what it takes mentally to play in a top team, and he's proven it in the test games so far. Here's the main training group. We just saw Mario Götze, Claudio Pizarro's in your screen, Arjen Robben in the background, Thomas Müller, Holger Badstuber now touching the ball. So these are all players who are, as you can see, at different stages of their fitness. We have Dante in the background, some faces that might not be particularly familiar to you. There are several youth players in this training squad and have been all summer long. That's again what happens traditionally in these World Cup and European Championship years, simply because most of the squad, at Bayern Munich at least, most of the squad isn't available for training yet. Arjen Robben is a good example. He joined the Bayern squad on the last day of the Bayern Munich Audi summer tour. He traveled to Portland and with the German internationals, basically just spent a couple of hours in the US, participated for a few minutes in a test game against the MLS All-Stars and flew back home. A couple of fans were surprised by this, why the players didn't join the squad earlier. Simple reason is that the physicians decided it's better to just come for a couple of hours, stay on European time, and thus avoid jet lag. Same goes for Philipp Lahm here, who's at the center of your screen. Now here's one of these young talents, as we see testing Tom Starke there. Of these young talents, two players are of particular interest, it seems, to Pep Guardiola. The aforementioned Gianluca Gaudino and also Luca Scholl. So Gaudino and Scholl, and of course also Luca Scholl, a man who has a famous football playing father, son of Mehmet Scholl. You just saw David Alaba there grab a pen, so he's now going to go to the Bayern fans and spend quite a few minutes signing everything the fans hand him. Again, this is typical of Bayern Munich and typical of these public training sessions at Bayern Munich. Of course, it's unusual for a European top club to conduct these public training sessions, and it's unusual for a European top club to actually be located with their training facilities in the center of town, but that's the case for Bayern Munich. Not quite in the center of town, 2 or 3 miles south of it. But here, this is one of these typical sides. Shaqiri, Lewandowski, Alaba, real star players who take their time to sign shirts, sign autograph cards, caps, what have you, jerseys, the whole lot. And some of these players here, Thomas Müller, Arjen Robben, will certainly do that too. On the far right here, covered in the background, is Mario Götze, World Cup top man, World Cup match winner in the final. Xherdan Shaqiri has a lot of fans, particularly Bayern. He's a bit of a crowd darling. Lewandowski in the background is hoping he'll achieve that status. As you can see, the players signing everything that's handed to them, and it's a great opportunity for the fans to see their players, to get really close to the players. Alaba. Well, talk about crowd darlings. David Alaba, everybody's darling at Bayern Munich, the Austrian Sportsman of the Year. Manuel Neuer just voted 2 days ago Germany's Football Player of the Year. A very unusual honor for a goalkeeper. He's already won it for the second time, which made him, as he said, particularly proud in a World Cup winning year with all of these fantastic teammates of his. But of course the Bayern players are now reaping the reward for a fantastic season. Double winners, Champions League semi-final, world champions, most of them at least. And subsequently, of course, quite a few of them nominated for a lot of individual awards. This man makes no exception. Müller against Arjen Robben. Again, Robben, Dante, Müller, Lahm, Schweinsteiger have only trained, I believe, 5 times. Philipp Lahm, it's the same thing. Here's Pepe Reina, by the way. New signing in goal. New number 2 behind Manuel Neuer. Here is Holger Badstuber, denied by Pepe Reina. Toni Tapalovic, goalkeeping coach in the background. Mario Götze against Philipp Lahm and against Pepe Reina. Good job there by Götze. He will hope to play an even more central role for Bayern Munich this season. I had the opportunity to speak to him after he returned from his holiday, and he said, you can't imagine how many people approach me now. He is the face of Germany's World Championship victory. Instantaneous legend of German football, Mario Götze. Like Andreas Brehme, his goal will never be forgotten of the 1990 final. Now a Bayern player was the man of the moment, Götze, who scored the match winner against Argentina. This will be an interesting new dynamic here in the goalkeeping, or on the goalkeeping position, with Pepe Reina now number 2 ahead of Tom Starke number 3. Pepe Reina said, just like Tom Starke has always stated, that he wants to make Manuel Neuer's life not difficult in that sense, but he wants to push Manuel Neuer to the limit of every training session, push him to become an even better goalkeeper, and he says he's ready whenever Bayern Munich needs him. Here is Manuel Neuer. This is, as you can see, the FCB Kids Club, by the way. It's a youth program. Young fans can become members of this Kids Club and they get preferred access to the training facilities. Manuel Neuer, he already played yesterday in the Super Cup. Probably the Bayern player with the best performance. Number 1 at Bayern Munich, number 1 in Germany, and the signing of Pepe Reina is certainly not going to change that. Jerome Boateng probably looks towards a similarly bright future after his amazing performances, not only for Bayern Munich last season, but in particular during the World Cup. Again, the players here take their time, sign everything they can. Here's a young goalkeeping talent. Neuer posing for pictures with this young fan. Again, Neuer voted Football Player of the Year. That is a very, very rare honor for a goalkeeper. Few have achieved that. He's already done it for the second time, and we talked to him, and you could really tell that he was very happy about that. It's more than just a goalkeeping award, of which, of course, he's received very many. Neuer, very relaxed, very open, friendly person, but don't expect that kind of attitude during his training. Extremely determined, diligent, highly concentrated, as is this man. Maybe, according to some, the most professional football professional of his generation. He's incredibly detailed in his work, diligent. He's someone that the fitness coaches, the physical trainers actually use as an example. Sometimes there are videos of him, how he conducts certain exercises, just as an example for others. He is a monster in training, incapable of going half steam. He's one of the star players, of course, in this Bayern team, and also a crowd darling. Arjen Robben, due to his style, not always undisputed by the fans in popularity, but latest since his goal in the Champions League final 2013 in Wembley against Dortmund. Robben is an icon and a club hero who will always be remembered, a club legend, I think is safe to say. So here are some of these star players. Philipp Lahm, you can see Claudio Pizarro, Thomas Müller, Mario Götze, Holger Badstuber is in possession right now. Next to him, Arjen Robben. Holger Badstuber seems to be fit. He, of course, was out for 1.5 years nearly after he tore his ACL twice. Now seems back to real fitness, and, of course, well, he'll be needed if our worst fears come true and if it is indeed confirmed that Javi Martinez tore his ACL yesterday. He seemed to be severely injured and announced more or less with more or less certainty yesterday that's exactly what happened. We're still hoping that maybe the initial diagnosis was false and that Martinez indeed won't be out for so long. Badstuber can certainly give him an idea or two of how to cope with this situation. He's gone through a great deal. Holger Badstuber unable here to get past Philipp Lahm and score a goal, but that's of course not his job at Bayern Munich. Pep Guardiola was obviously unhappy with the defeat yesterday, but he also said much worse than the defeat in the Super Cup was the injury of Javi Martinez, who had injury problems last season already and never really quite made it into the squad because of that. And then he trained so well during pre-season. He was in fantastic shape. He was a player that Pep Guardiola heavily relied on, and particularly for the first couple of weeks of the season. It looks now as if Guardiola will have to do without him for quite a while. So, this nearly wraps up our live training session. As you could see, there were several sessions, several different training groups, which is normal after a game, and also not unusual considering the different stages, the different times different players joined in this Bayern training. Great opportunity for the fans here in Munich to come to Zebener Street and see these stars. Good opportunity for you too to see somewhat unusual videos, public training sessions, not something you see a lot, particularly not in European top clubs. We hope you enjoyed this program. We will certainly show you more public training sessions in future, as we have been doing on FCB TV in the past. Thank you very much for your interest. Thank you very much for watching. And see you next time.
Ihr wollt weitere coole Inhalte vom FC Bayern sehen? Dann bloß nicht hier draufklicken.